In this corridor, 500 years ago, a screaming queen ran for her life. Catherine Howard, fifth wife of Henry VIII, desperate, terrified, begging for mercy. Guards dragged her back to her chambers. Weeks later, her head fell from the executioner's block. And every year, on the anniversary of that night, visitors report hearing her screams echoing through these halls. Welcome to Hampton Court Palace, where Tudor luxury meets eternal terror. This is the story of Henry VIII's most lavish mansion and the wives who never left. Hampton Court Palace sits on the Thames River, 20 minutes from central London today. But step inside and you're transported to 1515, when power, passion and blood ruled. This isn't just a palace, it's a crime scene, a love nest, an execution waiting room, and the spirits of 3 executed queens still walk these rooms, trapped in their horror. Let's enter the most haunted royal residence in England and uncover its darkest secrets. Construction, the Cardinal's ambition. Hampton Court wasn't built for a king. It was built by Cardinal Thomas Wolsey in 1515. Wolsey was Henry VIII's most powerful advisor, richer than the king himself at the time. He constructed a palace more magnificent than any royal residence, with 1,000 rooms total. Red brick towers rose from the Thames. Italian artisans carved the ceilings with gold leaf. The kitchens could serve banquets for 600 guests. 55 fireplaces heated the halls. The 6 wives, love and death. Catherine of Aragon lived here first, banished when she couldn't produce a male heir alive. Anne Boleyn walked these corridors pregnant with Elizabeth, unaware of her coming execution date. She was arrested in 1536, charged with adultery and treason, beheaded at the Tower. Jane Seymour gave Henry his longed-for son here, then died 12 days later from infection. Anne of Cleves was rejected after one night. Henry called her a Flanders mare cruelly. Catherine Howard was the tragedy. Married at 17 to Henry, aged 49, massively obese now, she took lovers, was discovered, and ran screaming down the haunted gallery toward the chapel. She was dragged back, imprisoned, and beheaded in 1542 at just 19 years of age. Catherine Parr survived Henry, outliving him by nursing the diseased king until his death. The hauntings begin. Catherine Howard's ghost is the most active spirit reported by thousands of witnesses annually. The haunted gallery is where her screaming apparition runs, arms outstretched, face twisted terror. Security cameras once captured doors flying open violently with no one present in the frame. Guards refused to patrol that corridor alone at night, reporting sudden freezing cold spots. Jane Seymour appears in the clock court, dressed in white, carrying a candle every October. She drifts through the corridors near the room where she died in agonizing childbirth pain. Anne Boleyn has been seen in the gardens, sometimes headless, wandering near the river gate. Dark events and later history. After Henry died in 1547, his children Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I all ruled. Elizabeth I held court here, but preferred other palaces, haunted by memories of her mother. King William III and Mary II renovated the palace in Baroque style during the 1690s completely. A devastating fire in 1986 destroyed some king's apartments, taking years to restore them fully. The palace has witnessed murders, political plots, religious persecution, and royal divorces throughout. Today, 500 years of whispers echo through these halls, captured forever in the ancient stones. The curse continues. Modern staff report unexplained phenomena: footsteps, whispers, figures in Tudor dress appearing suddenly. Tourists faint in the haunted gallery. Children point at the lady in the old dress invisibly. Psychics refuse to enter certain rooms, claiming the emotional trauma is still too overwhelming. Hampton Court Palace remains both a UNESCO treasure and England's most actively haunted royal site. Conclusion: Hampton Court Palace is where Tudor ambition, passion, and cruelty crystallized into architecture permanently, where cardinal, king, and queens lived in unimaginable luxury while death waited in the shadows. 500 years later, the palace still whispers its secrets to those brave enough to listen. And 3 executed queens still walk these halls, forever reliving their final terrifying moments. If you want to explore more mansions where the past refuses to die, subscribe to Houses That Whisper, because every house has a story, but some stories never end.